Yes, 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 people, yes. We are live, 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 live in direct. You know what it is, you know what it is. It's another edition show. It's another addiction show right now. And I got a special guest in the platform. Big special guest, big special guest, big special guest right now on this platform. And he's gonna be joining with us. So everybody, so everybody just so everybody just tune in, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, you know what I mean? Got live with me all the way on the other side of the world. Some of you know him, some of you do not. But today you're about to find out who he is. You know what I mean? But before we get down, I introduce who this dude is. Do some commercial flyers real quick. Don't forget, it's all about Memorial Weekend, May 28th through the 31st. It's going down in Houston, Texas. Live is going down in Houston, Texas. Live, 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 live. You know what I mean? Buy your plane tickets, rent your car, buy your outfits, call your friends, let your family members know that you're going to be coming down to Texas. Let the whole world know what's the deal is, because Texas is going to be the place to be. It's going to be where's it at. That's the movement. Um, like this dance, this show right here, don't forget, it's all about the Pasa Pasa phone party Saturday the 29th. And then you got the Soca Passion after that. You know what I mean? Saturday, May 29th. And then don't forget all about the big all white party. All white party, May the 31st. That's a Monday. The big show with Dexter Dobbs and more artists to be added onto this event. That's Dancer. Everybody know who Dancer is, aka Fernando, aka the Walkie family. So, like I said, tune into that. And then also, if you're not flying to Texas, please don't forget about May 29th, Memorial Weekend, Planamo, aka a Selecte. We have Gary from the Dynasty and the GX team and Belizean Vibes. Don't forget that is May 29th, Memorial Day weekend, New York City. You know, New York is open back up, so you already know. You already know tickets is already sold out. And then also don't forget, I will be interviewing Planamo, aka Thomas, May 26th, 6 p.m. live, New York time. You know, that's how we doing it, NYC. But enough of that. I got my good friend, my good friend. He could be somewhere. I don't know if he's in Africa. I don't know. He's probably somewhere in the islands. He could be in New York City. I don't know. He probably in Mars somewhere. Andy, what's good, my brother? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. It's probably like what, 2 years with the pandemic?
Word. I'm gonna need you to turn your if you can't turn your volume up a little bit on your side, because you kind of sound a little bit low. You know what I mean?
Hello. Let me see. Let me know if you can hear me better. Let me know if you can hear me better. Let me know if you
Yeah.
can hear me better. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can hear you clear.
Let me know if you need me to be a little louder. But I'm
You can be
doing
a little bit louder. You know what I mean?
I'm here.
So what's good, man? Like it's been a very long time. Um, I reached out to you like last week, for my podcast live interview talk show because we're live on Twitter, we're live on Twitch TV, we live on the Roku TV, we live on YouTube. So y'all can follow me on DJ Alex the Original or Alex the Original, or you can just log on to my website, Alex the Original, alextheoriginal.com, or DJ Alex the Original, or Garifuna Radio FM.com, blackfm.com, paparazzikids.net. You know what I mean? I'm in every different type of platform. So y'all can just log on. You know what I mean? We also live on the big platform, Facebook Live. So what's going on? What you been up to, and how's the pandemic treating you, my brother?
Oh, man, it's like shit. I will say, yo, thank you for having me. First and foremost, thank you very much for having me, man. Um, just like everyone else, how the pandemic been treating me, you ask me, is more or less typical, pretty much typical like everyone else.
Right.
Trying to stay alive, trying to keep healthy, make sure my family's good, make sure my friends is good. Um, and stay positive, stay focused, stay
Right.
creative, keep designing, stay within the arts. That's what I do. So it's like I pretty much try to stay involved into what I do, and that keeps me balanced. It don't give me the streets are open joy. It don't give me the streets are open type of joy, but it keeps me looking forward to something. So
Right.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Um, I see you got your resume. I'm gonna call it resume. I don't want to say um past, because when some people mention past, they think it's something negative. So I'm gonna say your resume is been good for still good. I'll say over a decade or more, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong.
A little bit over a decade. A little bit over a decade. I would say probably a little bit around, a little bit more than a decade and a half. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Just keeping busy. Again, just keeping busy. Like just. I don't call it a resume. I call it doing things, keeping active, keeping positive. And if that falls in the line of a resume, well, I guess it's a list of things that I've done. But I think the list of things that I'm looking forward to do is much greater. There's still so much to do for me. At
Right.
least for me. Yeah.
So to my new listeners and my old listeners that know who Andy is, Andy, let the people know who you are and where you come from.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like for me, it's like if I tell you I come from Mars, you won't believe it, right? I try to live up to that. The reason why is because I try to keep myself doing what no one else is doing.
Right.
Most people need company to feel whole. For the most part, I just like to keep myself surrounded by those who love me because I like to love,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to feel love. I don't need the lust. whether it's from a friendship perspective or love perspective or personal perspective, not love perspective, but a personal perspective. I just try to surround myself around people that would inspire me. Just energy. That's all. I'm inspired by energy. I don't, anything else is just influence. But I'm inspired by energy. People with good vibes. I like to keep around me and whatnot.
Right.
I'm the order of good vibes.
Okay. 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 All right. So we're gonna get down to business. So known you for a very long time, and
Man, we grew up together. You know me for a long time, man. We grew up
yeah,
together.
we grew up in the same block. Just put it like that. We grew up in the, in the same
This is
block.
this is a chapter type of thing. I already know, man. I already know this is a chapter type of thing. So just hit me. Just hit me. You're trying to figure out how you're gonna hit me, but I know you want to hit me. Just hit me with it, man.
Oh gosh.
You won't get all your questions answered, but I'll answer just about everything I can answer. This is not rehearsed. So
All right. We're gonna talk about your music career. How long have you been in the business?
I would say I call it linger. I wouldn't say inside the business. Someone like yourself been in the business, you know. I would say, well, yeah, somewhat in the business for me and somewhat lingering. Um, I had the pleasure to be around some very phenomenal people. X, rest in peace, DMX. I think that was my first. I would say that was my first full blown exposure to the music industry. Everything else I consider it linger. You know, I was lingering. But when I say I was in the music industry, when I was with Rough Riders, with TD and whatnot, and also with my brothers, I would say with my brother Frederick and Isaiah, they own A&E Music, and they were the founders. And I was their first talent. Second talent was a friend of mine that's like a brother now, Benny, and but that was before Rough Riders. Uh, they the ones that were in charge of pretty much managing me, and they pretty much. I was doing the music, back in the days I was doing reggae and all of that, but I never did nothing with reggae. I didn't generate no revenue, no money off of reggae within the community. Pretty much with them, I did the whole transition. They the ones that introduced me from a business perspective, like, hey, listen, we have something, come back to New York. This is what we're gonna be doing. And they tried it and it worked. They made some calls, we knew some people and whatnot, and next thing you know, that's what it was, Rough Riders. That's what we went with. We wasn't supposed to go with them. We were supposed to go with Rock La Familia. But yeah, I think for what the experience is that I got, I think with Rough Riders was a better situation for me, because they very family oriented. So it's like I would have never got that from Rockefeller Records, Rock La Familia. I would have got more of a just an artist. It's like, yeah. So
Okay. And who inspired you to start singing, and what made you start to sing and start doing your own thing before the whole Rough Riders, like, Who gave you the energy to be like, I want to be like this artist, but better?
Um, you know, being a little jit, I used to, I still do. Being a little jit, and now that it's like even older now, the first I would say reggae, the first person that I saw that introduced me to reggae music, bro. It was my older brother. My older brother Giddy. You know, just like every older brother, it's like you just the little brother, stay your ass right there, you don't know what you're doing. But I used to pay very close attention to what he used to do. Um, this was way before I wasn't even watching video music back then. You know, all I knew was my brother trying to put together music. Where was he going with it? I didn't know. Where was he singing? I didn't know. Where was he getting the beats from? I didn't know. But I used to see him do that, and just like every other parent, I used to see my parents tell them like, "Yo, stop doing that shit. Go to school." Just being transparent. You know, and once the first time I actually seen an example at an industry scale of what my brother was trying to do was through the video music box. Just looking at other artists, like when I started seeing the young Buju, the young Bounty Killer, and the Beanie Man, and all these other reggae stars. That's when I started to connect the genre my brother was on through the instrumentals. You know what I'm saying? Because I was still, again, it's like I wasn't even surrounded myself. I didn't surround myself around the community. I didn't know nothing about the community. I was barely even using my Spanish within my household because my brother would go out and do this genre of music outside of the house. Like he'll be in the house just memorizing and writing, reciting his stuff, but he'll take it elsewhere where I didn't know nothing. And I found myself alone one time, chilling in the house, looking for something to watch. And that, to my recollection, it was video music box. That's when I first seen reggae artists, and I was like, oh shit, like wow, like this is what these guys do. They on TV. And for a long time, I just stood stuck on TV, seeing if I ever saw my brother through there, because he'll leave and I didn't know where the hell he was going and what he's doing, but he was trying to do little shows and little this. And I still didn't know my uncle, I call him my cousin, because it's like the age range within there is not even, it's like he's someone that also, once I saw after my brother, it's like, once I met this guy and he was doing it at an industry scale already, then I was like, oh shit, like who the hell is he? Because he's doing it in Spanish too. And my brother was like, yo, like, that's your cousin, your uncle, Characan and whatnot. So I was like, what? So it's like, what? Like, that guy's related to us? And he already had videos and he was doing his thing, young Characan, and it's like, that was everything for me. It's like, that's when it's like, I was like, yo, like, this is it. And then I always wanted to, I was so inspired by that. To me, those two, can I curse on here? How to, like, I don't know what.
This is your show. You can say what you want to say.
To me, those two motherfuckers those two brothers were my superheroes when it came to music, because I didn't know how to put it together in English. I didn't know how to put it together in Spanish, but I was so inspired and I was so hyped, and still then I was a little dude, and it's like, I was like, well, I'm too young. I can't even go out and get on stage. but all I could do was start writing and finessing myself. But still, every time I used to bring my music to my brother, he'll be like, "Nah, that ain't it," you know. So it really, it really sealed the deal for me when I saw Little Vicious on Video Music Box. That's when I was like, "Oh, so there is little guys. It's young kids doing this too." So I was like, "Yeah, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. I'm gonna pursue it. I really gotta, and I really gotta study this kid. I can't do it in their language, but I have that sauce. You know, I look at my brother, and all I gotta do is just mimic him and just write my own shit. And that was the beginning of everything for me, you know. And then as I started, I couldn't put together the kind of music um, my cousin Uncle Chavacan would put together because it was just so well organized. And of course, being young, my language wasn't as expanded as his. You know, I wasn't. I couldn't put ABC together and make it sound as beautiful as he did. But what I did do was study flow, study melody. I started paying attention to him a lot because it's like, yo, like it's like I I see this guy like he act like he got that sauce, like his swag. He was so well put together, you know. My brother was still work in progress compared to me seeing him that was already put together. So I knew I had a journey to go to. But God damn it, it's like having my brother in my house. It's like, dude, it's like I have food right here. So it's like, as long as I have food right here, this is what I'm gonna eat. So what I ate was my brother's style, my brother's style and my brother flow. So I study him a lot, and the consequences of that was me making battle music. You know, because for a minute my brother found himself doing a lot of battle music and stuff like that. Not sure if he was inspired by Young Bounty Killer and stuff. Because back in the days, you know, that was the kind of sound that was really popping. And when Chavacan crossed into when Chavacan was doing his stuff, he was still doing the. It was hardcore, but it was commercial. You know, it wasn't no profanity. He always kept his music very, very clean. And obviously, you know, it's like he had different things going for him. So he had to stay commercial. You know, we in the streets. So it's like being in the streets, and then my brother circulating underground. He was doing more of he had more of an underground sound, and that's what I picked up.
Okay. Okay. Do you remember your first ever performance? And what location, if you remember the performance, and do you also remember your first song while you was performing?
Oh man, like it's like yeah, you digging in the crates right now. I honestly, I'll be lying if I tell you I remember. Um, yeah, I don't because it took some time for me to actually even start circulating. I never circulated stages within my community. That I can tell you, like what I did do was battle a lot in the community. I battled everything that was around my age and a little older. I battled everything, anything like my brother. It started with my brother taking me to Katona. I remember that was where I think I count that as my first performance. That was my first debut.
Okay.
I let my brother hear some smoke I had cooked up in my room. And when he heard it, he asked me to write some more. He was like, yo, like, yeah, this is it. write some more of that. And then he asked me if I wanted to battle, and I told him like, I mean, the only thing that could happen is lose, but I'm gonna learn something from it, you know. So he took me out to Katona Park, and I don't remember if it was Gato, the first guy that I battled, or if it was another gentleman. But I do remember that when I battled, I don't know, man. My brother went and just threw me to the lions. He was just like, "Yo, like I'm gonna take you somewhere for you to battle." And he walked me from Washington Avenue to Katona. And you know, like our older brothers know, they have their people they hang with. They'll just take you. Yeah, mama, take them with me. Yeah, come on, you want to go to the park? Come, you go that way. I'm gonna be over here with my boys. Just don't go far, whatever. And I got around the cipher, you know, and I don't remember if it was Gato though. I think it was, but I doubt it because yeah, I really don't remember, but I do remember that they wanted to jump me. And Big Rudy was there. You remember Big Rudy, right?
Yeah.
So Big Rudy was there, and Big Rudy was the one that pretty much stopped that from happening. He was like, "Yo, like, what the hell going on here? Like, yo, nah, like, I ain't gonna jump him or whatever." I don't remember what the hell I said slick out of my mouth that it bothered whoever I said it to, and they wanted to beat me up, man. I didn't know nobody there at all. All I knew was my brother, and my brother was far. So Big Rudy stepped in. I guess he knew who my brother was, and he was like, "Nah, like, I ain't jumping him or whatever, whatever. It's just a battle, whatever." And that was it. After that, it's like it was everywhere I went. It's like I started creating my own little clique. A few guys just embraced me, and they was like, "Yo, like, I'll take you around." And you know, back in the day, it was more for the fun of it. So it's like if you hot, everybody wanted to see you battle. So it's like, yo, like, this dude is hot. This dude is killing somebody. Like, yo, I'm gonna take you over here. I want you to battle this person. So it's like you got the people that want to see you tear something up,
Right.
and you got the challengers that like, yo, come on, I bet you can mess with my man. Come over here, come to this park, come to that park, come to this park. And then it's like I'm battling this person and that person, this person, that person, and it's like, you know, that was that for me, and that's what created my little buzz. But it was never on stage.
Okay. So you said something about they try to jump you. Like what I'm about to be nosy. So what was the whole situation with that? You know, they was trying to jump you.
I caught a body battling, and they didn't like it, man. That's what it was. I body whoever I was battling, and they didn't like it.
Oh, okay. So that's what really happened then. So you just shut it down and they was just feeling some type of way.
Shut it down and down. You know, it's like I'm not. I don't know. It's like I'm open to losing, but I'm definitely a risk taker. So it's like for me, it's like I strive off wins. I strive off losses,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, it's like you learn from both, man. You can learn a lot from taking an L. You know,
Sure.
Same way you could take a lot from. Don't study your losses. Don't only study your losses, study your wins. You know, see what you did right to succeed. Because the next time you try to incorporate it, you're gonna fail. You know that's like boxing. You know what allowed you to win on that first fight is not gonna allow you to win on the next one. Sometimes opponents pay attention to that type of shit, and then they know what you're gonna come with or whatever. So it's like, yes, it's like I try to learn from my own experience, man.
Mm-hmm. So you body the person on the lyrics. We're talking about music wise, and then so I guess you started being recognized. So the more and I'm guessing whoever you bought battle, the artist got lost. So I guess you started what battling like before like what were you doing before you became an artist? Like what was you doing before that?
Modeling.
How long you been modeling?
For a little bit. Yeah, I was doing it for quite a few years. That I did again. It was one of those things that is like, it's like I picked up just my other brother Nas, and then my uncle Chavakang also was a big influence in that because back then you remember the Source magazine.
Right.
So he was doing a lot of stuff for a lot of magazines. It's like, I mean, it was one of those things that is like I could genuinely say I'm I'm powered by influence. My entire being been powered by influence. It's like I gravitate to shit quick. If I like it, I don't copy it. I just integrate it into my life, and I make my own lane. I'm not the type of dude that is like, yo, if you're selling t-shirts, I'm gonna sell t-shirts. I'll sell hats though real quick. You're not selling hats. So it's like I'll sell what you're not selling, you know, but it goes together. So in a way for me, um, I could say it's like that whole street battle thing within our community. I did it for not so much of a long term because like I started seeing that rappers that I was battling and they were losing. Soon enough, I wasn't hearing from them again. It's not like if they were coming back for more. The only artist that always came back for more was Gato. Gato saw me. Listen, like I could remember from when I first met Gato and we battled, like he introduced me. I could say he was the one that introduced me to doing this shit in Garifuna because when we battled, I was dominating Spanish more than him.
Mm-hmm.
But that goddamn Garifuna in English, he was just, I didn't understand it, but it was also, it was so magical for me because it's like, I hear people speaking Garifuna, as I was getting around the community, I started realizing that, damn, like, where the fuck have I been? Like, what the hell? How come I don't know this? How come I don't know this language? And I used to hear my mother speak it, and I never paid attention to her speak it and whatnot because she wouldn't speak it in the house with us. None of us speak it. And my mother used to speak it with who I don't know. I know she used to be on the phone with my aunt, and they'll speak it, and they'll speak the Spanish and go back into it and whatnot. But it wasn't something. It wasn't happening in my house, unfortunately. And once I met Gato, it's like I was like, what? I didn't know you could put me. I thought he was rapping in French.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, that's what it sounded like. Running around the industry back then in fashion, I used to see a lot of people speak French, like young kids, from other parts of the world. They'll speak other languages, but I was able to gravitate with French, and I was familiar with it at a young age. So I thought that's what I never heard nobody. I still wasn't into punta bands because I didn't know the language. I didn't know that that's what he was doing.
Okay.
I didn't know that he incorporated punta language into reggae. So for me, it was kind of like, what the hell is this dude doing? It was like, yo, like Garifuna, like you don't know Garifuna. I was like, no, I don't speak it, you know. So come again in Spanish, you know. And then he'll hit me with the Spanglish and whatnot. And soon enough, it was more like it was like a show because it was very few. It was a very hand few of battle rappers that were circulating in our community back then, you know. And the ones that were battle rappers is like you knew because we were underground. We'll be at hooky parties. We know what high school who go where and whatever. But for the most part, it's like Katona Park was the slaughterhouse. You know, like if this is where you want to battle, go to Katona. That's where everybody's gonna go ahead and meet at and whatever. And the word is spread around. Social media didn't exist, so it's like yo, like yeah, like da 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 da, boom, you know, and that's where it'll go. It'll all go down.
Yeah, back in the days, it used to be the word of the mouth. That was social media, just word of mouth, flyers and word to mouth. Like yo, just like yo, tell a friend and tell a friend.
Yeah.
Um, the last time, if I'm not mistaken, I actually seen you perform of 1,000. I could say yeah, probably like 1,000 people. Squeezing 1,000, just put it like that. Was at 163rd on St. Lutheran Parish Club Church back in the middle 90s.
Yeah.
I've seen you battle from Costa Rica, forgot the guy's name. I've seen you battle Beanie B, aka Ivan. I seen you battle Chucky, aka Oscar. The list goes on and on and on. But before that, you was a how long? I also know you as a barber. Your model, barber, artist, producer.
I do. I'm telling you, if the money's there, I'm there, man. You know, if the money's there, I'm there. It's like back then when I was like, even before the music, I think back then for me it was just more running the streets. So it's like I was running the streets and catching bodies, battle. You know, when my mom sent me away and whatnot to pretty much save my life, and that's how I got out of New York and just turned around from the streets and shit. And when I came back, my brother was already cutting hair, and I didn't have a job, couldn't get a job. I couldn't get a job, so it's like um, my mother wasn't getting out and about. It wasn't so, back then you physically had to go somewhere and fill out paperwork to get a job, and wait for them to call you, so everything was more one thing and wait for a call. Go fill out an application and wait for a call. And for my mom, just like a lot of Honduran mothers, a lot of Garifuna mothers to say, she didn't know nobody. Like my mother, she's not mixy. She wasn't mixy like that. So um, it ain't like she knew a friend, hey, mi hijo necesita trabajo or whatever. Right? She wasn't taking me to get ahead and, hey, go fill out this, like parents is just make sure you good, they providing, and you do your part. Go to school, stay out of trouble, and the two things I didn't know how to do or give back was stay in school and stay out of trouble. So those were the highlights of my life, and it almost cost me my life. She sent me away, and I came back changed. I was a whole different dude, you know, like it was almost, I remember the day, well, I remember because when I came back injured anyway. But I do remember how well spoken I was. I never used to, that's the only person I didn't challenge no matter what. My mother and my sister, they'll go pick me up. You remember, my sister and my mother go pick me up from the park, wherever the hell. If my mother found out where I was at and I had no business being there, it was after hours, she'll go pick me up with the frying pan. So it's like, for me, the only people I respected my mother, but I didn't listen to her. It's like, you know, I respected her. It's like I wouldn't challenge my mother. I never challenged my mother. I just didn't listen to her. You know what I'm saying? I didn't find, it's like, I didn't disobey her rules in the house, but the minute that I ran out of that, listen, once we crossed that door, like once I'm in the hallway, it's not your rules, it's my rules. And I'm going to the street, so it's like I'm me, you know, and I did that to the fullest. You know, it's like I never even ran around my block. I never ran in my block. I never stood in the corners of my block, because to me, that was never my block. I couldn't relate with my environment. I couldn't relate with the kids from my block, and they never embraced me as one of their own anyway. The minute that I until today, it's like I speak Spanish and people look at me like I'm from another planet. So it's like, for the most part, yeah, bro. It's like I just did my own thing. I always listen. I wanted something, I'll go find where to do what I want to do. It was never with anybody from my block. It's like my social circle wasn't from my block. It's like the people that I ran with from my block, they were more like family. You know, it's like Marlo from up the block, from up 170, and Junebug. It's like that was the only two, and that's because we went to the same school, and that's where I met them. But it was doing the same rah-rah shit that I was doing. So it's like that's how we got cool, because it's like, yo, like it's like it was one of those things like it's like, yo, you're the only one that do it at my level. Let's do it together, you know, and that was just it, you know. But other than that, it's like, yeah, man, it's like my mother was the head superhero of it all, you know. I learned how to cut hair with her, and it was just in the basics, which is pretty much how to hold the machine and cut this. And you know what? It wasn't even so much about her being nasty with it. It was just, yo, I don't even know if she even knew how to cut hair good. I never even said, Ma, cut my hair, never. She showed me, and she was like, va a ir a trabajar con tu hermano. And next thing you know, Nas, even with Nas didn't show me at home. He showed me at work. So it was more like, yo, like I'm throwing you in the water. You got to swim, you know? So it's like, that's when I was in New Africa. You remember those days? It's like, I'll be sitting there waiting for a client. I wasn't getting no clients, but when I got one, like my brother will be there and he'll be watching my back. Like, yo, first use this clipper, do this clipper does that, and whatnot, and do this, do that. And I was doing Caesars. Anything that was a Caesar, my brother would throw it to me. If it was a fade, I went and do it. And I remember all the rest of the barbers. So also, some of the barbers used to look at me and just see if I'm a Zeke the client, how good my lines were. But it's like nobody, it was my brother. My brother showed me how to finesse. My brother's the one that really just showed me how to cut hair. But it was pretty much like, that was pretty much like, yo, the boat is sinking, you gotta swim, you know? And it's like, it wasn't like, yo, I got nice at home, and when I went into New Africa, I was showing off. No, it's like, I still didn't know how to cut hair. I learned how to cut hair there. And when they announced that the barbershop was closing down, it was on a holiday. And there was like so many people there, you know? There was so many other barbers and beauticians and whatnot. But it was the people that my brother was close with that I kind of like, Gina. It was Gina. It was the other. I think she was,
Pam,
huh?
Pam.
Pam, Gina and Pam, pretty much. That was it. It was Gina and Pam. I never used to like the rest of the guys. Is like co-workers. Like
Nancy.
talk to them, you see
Yeah.
them, because they weren't even talk to me. It's not like and it's like it was until after the year, But it's like I really didn't. My relationship with them. The only time they will approach me is when my brother wasn't there. But it wasn't to show me anything. It was just more to ask me for supplies. Like, yo, can I get a thing for the neck? Yo, can I get some spray? Yo, you got some spray because they ran out. And that's how I interacted with them. It wasn't really all for like, yo, bro, like, yo, come here, let me show you something with your clippers or whatever. Do this, yo, line yourself up. I actually got nice learning how to shape up, zeking myself, But again, that was one of those things. So for me, seeing Nas do his shit and finish his shit, and it's like again, it was just me trying to do dope shit, inspirational shit that I seen everybody around me do and get by. So it's like those were my idols. That was pretty much it. My mom, my older brother, my uncle Chawakang Nas. It's like he's my brothers in my house and my uncle. That was all and out of them three, I'm me, pretty much. I'll be lying if I say it's like, like I cannot go ahead and talk music and not talk about dudes that paved the way for me. It's not like it took some time. It took a few years for me to get around Chavakang and whatnot, and I still wasn't ready when I got around him. I remember when I met him. It's like I still wasn't. It's like I didn't even approach him on the I do music too, because it's like there's a motherfucker that do music in such scale, and at that point I was already around the community that it's like I didn't want to rap the negative shit that I was rapping around in the streets to somebody that do clean music. I didn't know how to make clean music, so it's like I was like I'm just gonna chill. And now I got to learn how to make clean music because I'm around this dude, and he don't do dirty music. His dirty music consisted of music, little sexual content for the women, and it wasn't even sexual content. It was just more, he throw that juice in it, and that's what it was.
Wow. So you're a barber, model. Because I remember you you used to go to the park, you used to mind your business, you used to ride. I don't know if you used to make them, but I used to always see you riding bicycle, custom made bicycle.
Yeah, I used to make them.
So you used to make custom made bicycle. And how many bikes you had?
I would probably say I had probably like three, but always had a fly one. It was always I had three, but always a dope one. Like shout out to my mom in heaven, because it's like I remember like yesterday, bro. Like it's crazy because it's like we didn't have it, we didn't have it, and but for some reason my mother, she wouldn't get in the way of whatever kept me from the street. She wouldn't get in the way of that, So I remember my bed broke down because I had a wooden bed, and it broke down, and then my mother bought me one of those metal beds. It was a futon, one of them little twin beds. It was a futon, Again, it's like single mother, raising 6 boys. Well, 5, really 6 boys because I always had my best friend used to be over there a lot, but it was a single mother raising 5 boys, 1 girl, and somebody else's kid. My mother was always raising somebody else's kid. She'll always cook extra for someone else's kid, you know, because it was one of us boys as we ran the streets a lot, we'll come back with somebody and whatever. So she always had extra plate, you know. But I remember my mother buying me this futon, bro, and I was happy. Yo, I was happy, you know.
Right.
And like the week after, I threw the futon out. I threw it away. My mother was at work and I threw the futon away. And I turned my room into a bike shop. At that time, it's like I didn't want my bed, you know. It's like it was me and my little brothers. My little brother said, "Yeah, I didn't mess with their stuff, but my bed, I needed my section to be a room to paint bikes because I couldn't paint outside, like dust and particles would get on my paint job."
Right.
And I started getting creative. I didn't have the money for stickers. My mother didn't have the money to buy me a bike. So I started picking up bikes from the garbage. You know, it's like the paint job was good and the rim was bented. But I started putting bikes together. Like, yo, like this bike got good rims, but the frame is broken. And this one got a good frame, but the wheels are jacked up. So I would strip the brakes. I would grab my father's tools, go downstairs. And while my father was in a room or whatever, I would pick in his tool bag and go and put bikes apart in the street and bring everything back upstairs and put a bike together out of both parts. And it got to a point where it's like, yo, like now I need to. I used to see my father file and sand like parts and stuff because he used to work in the electronic field, and that's when I was introduced into a file and sandpaper. And when I seen what that shit could do, I was like, damn, magic. Like it's like, oh, so if I could scrape the paint off, I could put my look into this stuff.
Right.
That was a whole turnaround for me, bro, because it's like I didn't have I didn't know where to get paint from, but my father will make sure, like, yo, like I'll take you to get paint and whatnot. And then my friend, rest in peace, Peter, he used to go ahead and get paint from me because he was into cars. So I don't know where the hell he used to get paint from, but he would get me paint. And then I didn't have stickers. So I started cutting the cereal box, like the little designs and shit, like the Wheaties and all these little logos out of it, you know, and I'll cut the letters out. And my father introduced me to better adhesive than regular paper glue. Because when I first started with paper glue and I went out, I got caught on the rain and my entire job got screwed up.
Wow.
So my father introduced me to better adhesive, and he introduced me to a clear coat. That way my stickers wouldn't get damaged and they'll seal with my paint job. And that was a whole turnaround for me. That was like, okay, so now I got paint and I can make my own stickers. So it's like, that's when everybody on the block was looking at me different. Like, where the hell you got that bike from? This is a one of one, you know? But I was so ahead of every kid in my block that was, listen, the guys that could fix bikes, they were just fixing bikes. They were just putting bikes together. At that point, I was already changing the looks of bikes. I was making custom bikes, you know? I already had an understanding of mags and aluminum mags and making lighter frames. Like I was introduced to GTs, hanging with Nas and one of his friends. I started learning like, yo, like, oh, I didn't even know there was expensive bikes until we went to Pelham Bay snatching bikes. So it's like, for me, that's what so these guys why is this bike so light? I didn't know I was building bikes out of Sears cheap bikes and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, so it's like, yeah, it's like little by little, I just started getting an understanding of product quality, you know, and that just having an understanding of that allowed me to learn more about better quality of material. And that's when I was introduced into the BMX and going to 161st. If you remember 161st, they had the ramps back there. So I used to go out there. I used to go to Pelham Bay. I used to go to West 4th, you know, and that was my place. It's like I was never riding bikes within the community. I never had a friend. All of my friends pretty much were. I got close with one of the guys from my block, Gerard. Actually, that's what made me and him close. You know, he was putting bikes together with me a lot, and he started taking me out to places that I never been. I never went to Harlem. My first time in Harlem was with him, and my first time in Central Park was with him. We pedaled from 169 to Central Park. And I'm like, hey, my mother never gonna see me again. I was going everywhere else by car, but I didn't know what this is. I've been to Katona, but this place is huge. Like it's like, what if we get lost, you know? And then we was pedaling all the way to Forest Park in Brooklyn. You know, we was going to Linden Park in Brooklyn. We was crossing bridges. We was pedaling, going east. We'll pedal east to the Brooklyn Bridge, cross that, then get on Atlantic, pedal Atlantic to Livonia, going to Linden on Sundays for the whatever was going on, you know, out there and shit. Yeah,
Wow.
man.
Wow. That's history. Um, you made a bike that can fold. You was the first person that made a bike that can actually fold sideways. How you feel now
They,
from today that you was like the first creator of a kid, young kid, teenager, making bikes, building them, and then you came up with this idea of folding a bike. And then
bro,
now we are in the 2020s now, that now they got bikes out there.
that fold and all that. You know, again, this is one of those things, you know, ignorant parents, they wasn't ignorant, they
Right.
just didn't know the American system because both of my parents, they were corporates and whatnot, but they didn't understand the American way. They didn't know nothing about patenting and and shit like that. It's like shit. It's like I got bored. I got bored doing paint work and stickers really quick. I get bored quick, bro. Like it's like for me, it's like if I invent something, okay, it's done. It's invented. It's designed. Now I gotta outdo it. So it's like for me, this is why it's like I don't get too mixy with other creative minds because of the simple fact that it's like what you seen, I don't see that. Like it's like you you may have to sit, design, and sit in front of a computer and do rendering. I see the shit done already. I already know what materials I need. Give me the measuring tape. I need this amount of lumber. I could calculate just how much I'm gonna need to the point where I'm only left with 2x3s. That's as much as I would buy additional. Like I calculate exactly what a production is gonna take me, and I have a clear rendering of what is it that I'm doing. You know, I've been doing this for so long that it's like, I'll be honest with you, a lot of my clients, I don't even design for my clients. Like a lot of my clients pretty much, they just call me over and, yo, man, it's like, I want to do something different. What do you see on this wall? Like, well, what do you want to do on the wall? Well, I want to do a studio. I want to do this, or I want to do that. Or just do you. What do you want to do here? You know, and it's like I want to outdo myself. Last time I did something, I did this and that for a client, but I want to outdo me. It's like for me, it's a step forward for myself, you know. So it's like I try to get ahead and just do that, you know. And it's like I could get misunderstood between that, because a lot of people could think that it's like I'm very to self, or I've been considered bougie and all kinds of shit. And it's just the chill for me is personal. It's like I'm in that aspect, I'm selfish. It's like, because we don't ran together, we don't gone places. It'll be me and you. And it's like, I have a best friend, but it's a journey that is like, if I'm going with you, I don't want to go with someone else. If we chilling, it's like we could go, I could give you plenty of times. Yo, how many times we went to the church back in the days? Once we clicked and it was only me and you. We'll never go with someone else. It's like, yo, meet me on the corner of Third. I'm coming down right now. Or your mother will answer the phone and be like, oh, si Ale, si tia, ¿cómo está? Oh, la, 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 la. All right, yeah, yo, you ready? Yeah, meet me on the corner of Third. And we walking about our business, Right. I always knew hella people, but the people that I know is ignorant. Like, this is people like from back when I used to, I can't call them to go hang out, and it's like, everybody from it's like my social circle always been my brother's social circle. Like when I first started going clubbing, I went clubbing with my brother Nas. And then everybody that he knew, then I started, like, when my brother wasn't going, I'd be like, yo, what you doing? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Yo, you want to go? Yeah, I'll go. But it's like my first time clubbing, all the way to the socks was when my brother closed. Like, he took me, like, yo, like, I don't know if his friend bailed out on him, but it's like, I remember he took me to the meatpacking district. It's like I was young to model, but I wasn't old enough to get in a club. So it's like my brother would go ahead and dress me up like a grown nigga and, yo, take this ID, and he'll get on the line and he'll be 4 people behind me. That way, in case I get rejected, and he know to step out the line. But that's how we did it. And it's like, that's how, that was the journey for me, man. It's like, someone showing me the way, and then I'll find my own way or create my own lane, and I'll keep it pushing.
Definitely. Yeah. Shout out to Nazim.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Nas shit. Shout out to Geeky. Shout out to Chavakang, man. It's like,
Yeah. Shout out to the original OGs. They got it for the industries. I call them the silent killers. How did you feel? Getting picked on of your own kind from your own people that didn't even know that you was Honduran, or I don't know if you call yourself Garifuna. I understand you don't speak the language, but Honduran. How did you?
One thing I don't call myself is Honduran.
Okay.
With all respect, more power to everybody that consider themselves Honduran. I don't consider myself Honduran. It's one of those things where it's like, if you grab Florida oranges and you take them to China, are they now China oranges, or are they still Florida oranges? For me, and it's that simple. It's like, for me, it's that simple. Clearly, if you grab a bunch of oranges and put them in your maleta and you fly them to China, you're not gonna say now they Chinese oranges.
Right.
The oranges from Florida. If you plant them there, are they now Chinese oranges? No, they still Florida oranges. And it's that simple for me. It's like I never consider. It's like it may sound offensive. It's like I spent some childhood time in Honduras, and I'm so grateful to grow up out there. I learned Spanish there, but unfortunately, it's not my native language. My native language, I don't know it, but I am Garifuna, that I know I am.
So you consider yourself American, Yankee, more than.
I'm not American either. I'm Garifuna. And if you ask me, if I ask you, where do all blacks come from? It's that simple.
So where do black come from?
Man, listen, they don't come from Australia,
I feel
right?
you. So
So
how did you feel that, you used to, mind your business, ride your bike, you had a custom bike. How do you feel like from your own kind, people that did not know who you were was trying to either pick on you or try to steal your bike? Like, how did you feel about that? And were you trying to let them know where you from at the time?
I never, you know what, bro? Like it's like I'm a loner. I don't change. Like I don't fear. I don't. One thing that, if it was one thing that upset my father, always, that's something that he always showed us boys, just to never fear another man. That's something that I even inject that remedy to my son. You know, like always feel, always speak your mind, even if it could get you, even if I'm gonna fuck you up. You know, but I don't challenge my son. Never have. I don't challenge no man unless something is if I come for you, you know you have a problem. I don't have a problem with you. It's because you have a problem, and I'm just trying to fix it one way or another. You know, but um, man, like it's like I never. I don't know, bro. It's like it's one of those things. You know, it's like I always been a topic of discussion, but nobody ever approached me about it. You know, it's like, and I really don't care about gossip. What the fuck I'm gonna do with gossip? You know, it's like, what I'm gonna do with gossip? Like, what can I do with it? Like, somebody talking about me. All right, so what I'm gonna do? Hey, you talking about me? It's like, unfortunately in our community, like negative energy think they strive off of gossip. Like it's always like somebody, you always in somebody's mouth. You always, somebody's always gonna be talking about you. They don't know you personally, and they're not gonna tell you to your face unless they about that as well. But other than that, people, it's gossip. It's gossip. You can't do nothing with gossip. It's not a problem until you tell me. You know, I don't entertain.
Right. Shout out to Bugatti Palacios, Francis, Brooklyn, New York, the whole Bugatti family. You know what I mean? Thanks for sharing. You know what I mean? Hit that share button, share the link. Shout out to Biggie from Showtime. You know what I mean?
What's going on?
Straight up, the whole family, the whole Showtime
Shout
family.
out
You
to
know what I mean?
everyone that's on, that's watching, man. Shout out to everybody. And when I see Budati Palacio, shout out to you. Thanks for watching. Biggie, what's going on, fam?
Yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? The whole 1090 family also. You know what I mean?
Showtime.
Word. Um, so we're gonna get back to the whole music thing now. So I have heard that you, I don't know if you did a record or he had called you in the studio. I don't know if it was rumors or not, but what I was heard that you was also recording with Wyclef at one point. Was you recording with him, or y'all was like basically using the studio and then he just pop up in the studio?
It was always, you know what? I will say I always was around people that was around him. And what, you know what? Not only before him, it been people from before him and whatnot. I would say I've been in the studio with him. I play the back because it's just like if it's not directly my situation,
Mm.
I'm a firm believer of my time, you know. Um, but back then, I found the studio with Clef. Uh, I've been in the studio with Timberland in Florida, and then I met Timberland. That was my transition into rap. He said something to me that really clicked for me, and it put me so ahead of my time that I understood it. I definitely understood it
Mm-hmm.
because we talking about a holy grail of a producer. You know, it's like this is Timberland we talking about. So it's like it ain't like he gonna stir me wrong. If he's telling me the kicks don't sound right, the kicks don't sound right. You know, it's like it's that simple. You know, so it's like um but back then, when I met him, I was in Florida. It was like around 2003, early 2002. Probably he was in the gym, dieting up. I don't know if it was between 2002, 2004, somewhere there. He was
Mm-hmm.
in the gym with his trainer, and that was when I first got a chance to talk to him. You know, he was in the gym with his trainer, and I approached him. We was working like a few benches away from each other, no security. What the hell could happen? So I approached him, and I was like, "Hey man, how you doing and whatnot?" You know, it's Timberland. How ignorant would I be not to acknowledge him? You know, but I was like, "Damn!" It's like this dude is here, no security. I could dead talk to him, you know, and I'm approachable, and I don't have a problem communicating with anyone. You know, I'm pretty sociable. So I asked him, like, hey man, do you do reggae beats? So he was like, nah, man. He was like, nah, I don't do reggae beats. So when I was like, you fuck with the reggae? I was like, yeah, I do reggae, but in Spanish. He was like, you know. So it's like I realized that this guy didn't even know who General was, but General's career was long done already, you know. So it was pretty much nothing there for him to connect and gravitate to what I'm bringing and whatnot. And that's because there's no industry there. There was no industry for Latin reggae. It wasn't recognized as a genre of music after General. It been, you know, it's a Central America thing: Honduras, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Panama, and whatever other country want to listen to it, pretty much. But it's not mainstream. It never been a mainstream thing until reggaeton was born. You know, once they incorporated, I like to move it tempo with some 808, and reggaeton artists figured that out. It was more like, okay, well, something is happening. But at that point, I really didn't even care about it because it's like, for me, it's like, he was like, yo, man, like, he was like, man, if you ever do some rap, I'll fuck with you. And when I'll hear that. I want to listen to it. I didn't have a demo. I didn't have shit. I'm in Miami. I don't have an equipment. I don't know nobody. Um, my last, I moved over there for the last few months of me doing modeling. My manager at the time, TD, shout out to TD, that he's Swiss Beats father. He's the reason why I moved to Florida. He was like, yo, man, like, he had connected with me and another lady, Winston. Shout out to Winston. I think recently I learned Winston is in Atlanta now. But Winston was the one that I guess she had people in Florida, so she made some calls right on the car. Like, yo, like, what are you doing? You been modeling and whatnot? I remember that year I didn't even do Fashion Week and whatnot. So it's like, and sometimes it wasn't even for me Fashion Week because I wasn't a mainstream model or anything like that. It was just about even going to the park or even getting around the Jacob Javits, you know, just surrounding yourself around people, whether it was aspiring models or other people like that. I wasn't doing it at that scale and whatnot. I was still more on the underground.
Mm-hmm.
But they send me out there, and I got to do a lot of mainstream work over there shortly, and right after that, I think that's when it's like it was all over for me. And after that, I went into construction. You know, it's like I went right back into construction. I was very well savvy. I was already back from school. I had already cut hair and shit like that. So I was like, cut hair. I'll go ahead and go over there. I'm not gonna go to Florida and look for a barbershop to work at because Miami was flooded with a lot of Latin people, and it's like I didn't even know where the hood was at in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much it, bro. It's like I could genuinely say after meeting Timberland, I learned I I learned pretty much like, hey, listen, there's not a genre there. So it's like I went home, I wasn't disappointed. I was just like, yo, it's time to innovate, you know, because I so wanted to get ahead and present my artistry to this dude, at least freestyle for him, you know, because back then, you know, dudes was getting connected freestyling. Like the battle rap was always as dope as it is now. It was actually better back then than now,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But that was pretty much it. It was short and quick. It's like I guess he went on tour right after because he wasn't in the gym for long. By the time I had my first rap together, Timberland was gone. So it's like, but that's where Alcatraz was born. So it's like I no longer was Exorcista. I was Alcatraz, and my name came about a whole bunch of shit that I had going on. Nothing but bad situations. I was financially screwed. I wasn't modeling no more. I didn't have a job. And it's like I knew Alcatraz was the worst prison, and I needed to start with a name that will stand out, you know. And thank God he never even asked me for my name because
It's 7 o'clock.
this guy is crazy, you know. So he never got to know me for my name. But I was already, yeah, for a long time. I've been circling around producers and being in the studio and just learning, just having a seat, sitting back with TD. Like he took me around while modeling, and my brother too, Nas. Like they always surrounded themselves around dudes that was on. Like they're like TD. Well, he's Rough Riders, you know. But my brother always had friends that were pushing music and doing things. So I always listen, bro. Like I never lacked inspiration when it came to music. You know, it's like I have my brother, I have my uncle Tarakan, I'll say my cousin. I have a better relationship. My relationship with him is in so many different levels, you know. And then all of my other friends, guys that are on, guys that are not on. I count the people that's not on or the people that didn't have nothing to do with music because those will be the people that I'll let hear whatever I was doing and they'll be like, yeah, like, yo, that's hot. You know, like, yo, that's dope. That's different. Yo, keep going. You know, Moreira, big man, he was the first rapper that I met, like Honduran, because even Gato was underground. Moreira was like when I remember when I first met Moreira, because it's like I didn't meet Moreira until woof. Like I met him on Webster at Lace, at my boy Lace. Well, not my boy, but he was my brother's Simon engineer, Lace and Conrad. That's their friends, you know, their friend. And I met Moreira there, but again, it was one of those things. I was with my brother, and Moreira was there recording. They were recording a record, and I was in the back burner, you know. But I didn't even know that they all knew each other for some years and some time and whatnot. But it's like for me, it's like yo, like damn, it's like this motherfucker big as shit, and it was just so dope to see this dude spit. And when I saw him and the type of shit that he would say, he was just so smooth with his Spanish. And it was so upscale. Like this wasn't underground Spanish. And I'm young. My language is not up there yet, you know? So it's like, I'm hearing these dudes, him. I had already heard Chavacan Body of Work because he had dropped the album. And I'm seeing the Tutis go crazy for him. I had already seen him perform, but I had yet not meet Moreira. When I met him, I was like, damn, like this dude is so freaking dope. And he wasn't trying to be pretty. He wasn't trying to be hard. You couldn't help it. He's big, bro. Like this This dude is massive, and he's a rapper, you know. So it's like, and then he had presence, you know. It's like he meant serious business. It's like these dudes was dressing up fly, like he was well dressed. He had an appearance, clean look, commercial because he had an image. He didn't have no, you know, he wasn't running around with raggedy hair or dirty hat or none of that. Dude, these dudes was fly. Chavacan, Morera, my brother Nas, these dudes like these dudes as these good they getting it, you know, so they could afford the look that they out like their sound, their image matched what the hell they was doing, you know, and it's like I wasn't there yet. I wasn't ready. It's like all I could do is look up to it, but in the meanwhile, get nice, you know. So I did just that until cutting hair paid off for me, and I got really nasty. And then I started like, okay, now I need to get me a little look. But then it's like I was so skinny still from I was just young, bro. Just young. Just in my journey, you know, I was in the journey, enjoying it.
Why did you what happened of you changing your name? Like how did that went about you changing your name? And how did before you changed your name, how did that name came about
What
first?
what
Exorcista.
well again, it's like it was just a name that it was so tied up. Not that Alcatraz is a better name either, but it was more commercial, you know, for hip hop back then. When I came back over here as a rapper, Alcatraz was the perfect name. You know, it's like I was black and I was doing trap music in Spanish. We talking about 2000, 2004, right after meeting Timberland. My brother Fred hit me up. He's like, yo, I'm running around with Aventura, with Henry and Mikey and these guys. We doing stuff and whatever, whatever. And I didn't know them personally, but I was somewhat familiar with them because it's like from before me leaving, these these cats was trying to pick up. They was trying to get on too, but it's like bachata wasn't a category neither. It was just like punta. It was underground. You know, it was just more of a community sound. So there wasn't no genre for it. Like it wasn't in the genre. Like they did that. You know, so yeah. So,
Okay, okay. So and then so you end up just switching the name out of nowhere like that. Anybody told you to
I
switch
needed,
it?
nah, it was just that conversation with Timbo. Like I said, it's like, it was like, yo, like if you ever decide to rap, you know, and I thought he was gonna be in the gym for a
Oh,
minute.
that TV.
Huh?
Yeah. No, I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Um, but then when I came back, I had to try to convince TD that I'm a rapper, you know, and he wasn't trying to hear it. And I told him, Fred brought me back and he's like, yo, Frederick and my brother Isaiah, shout out to my brother Isaiah, because pretty much he was the bank along with my brother Fred. He was the investor, you know. They I don't know. You know, listen, I guess you have to interview them. I don't know what the fuck they saw in me that they decided to put money behind, you know. But they they put together a studio in the Heights, and
Yeah, I remember that
went to
studio.
work. We put together a few producers, and I called TD. I got a hold of TD. It went out. I think my brother Fred called them because at that time they already knew each other. Young Fred, my brother Fred was always running around, you know, like he was doing the high school tours, and he was doing a lot in high school with music, you know. And he's one dude that he also underrated. Is a story to be told because he was also a runway for a lot of cats from his generation to get ahead and get on. You know, he was a runway. A lot of dudes touch his stage and venues that he did. A lot of cats that's on. You know, but when I came back, I told TD like he was like, yo, yeah, so yo, like this fashion show and this that. Yo, I don't want to model. Yo, like I don't want to model. T, I'm a rapper now. So he looked at me like, "What is he talking about?" Like we was just laughing about it. Like I think like a week and a half ago I was talking with him, and I was telling him, "Yo, you remember what you said to me?" I was like, "What the fuck you talking about, man? You's a fucking pretty boy, nigga. You a model." Like he was going, listen, he looked at me, you a model, bro. Like it's like you're not doing this rap shit. Like people wouldn't even take you serious. Like it's like, I'm skinny. Like it's like I don't look hard even if they put me on baggy clothes. Like Rough Rider, they put me on baggy clothes, but it's like my look was never hard. Like it's like I never had the frame. And that forced me to get ahead and hit the gym and work out. I had to work out. I needed a frame. I needed to be taken a little more serious, because it's like one thing is how you act, but if you don't intimidate anyone, if you don't look like something, it's like, hey, it's like, anything could look like gold. Is it gold? You want to know if it's, and anything could look like it until you hear it. When you hear me, you know I'm in business. But when you saw me, it's like, yo, he's a rapper. I look more like an R&B singer. And he wasn't, my brothers wasn't with it neither. They was like, yo, like work out, hit the gym, you going to the gym, do this, do that. My brother Nas, he was dealing with my imaging back then. So he was like, yo, like hit the gym, nigga, you gotta work out, do this, do that. So he was really big. Like my brothers really pushed the physique in me. Like you gotta look like, yo, sex appeal is important. So I started doing that shit, got around the gym and some iron, and I started lifting that shit until I got a little frame. Um, but yeah, like it took a minute for TD to come around and believe me, and it was until he came around and he started seeing people. He seen that we didn't have a little computer and some speakers. He seen like, oh well, these guys, my brothers meant business. Whatever they spoke about, they meant business because if they telling you, yo, I have a studio, they didn't have a computer and or a desktop and some speakers. These cats had a whole control board. They had a treated room. They rented out a treated space, and that was a whole recording studio. And a lot of cats, even cats that's on now, they came through there. And again, even in that shape or form, this not paved the way, but a lot of people rub shoulders. A lot of people, we circulated. A lot of people, it's like a whole bunch of cats trying to get on, and one that made it. We know those that made it, and some that made it. We know some that made it. Um, but I can honestly say, like for me, Alcatraz was too ahead of his time. How ahead of his time? We was probably like around 14 years ahead of our time. It's like it's now everybody is el rey del trap. Like niggas is trapping now. But I brought that shit over here from Florida. I don't. The only other rapper that I knew that was rapping, and I never cipher with him because he was more of an. Even then, he never changed until now. And I met him and spoke with him on some different business than music. It's Dominican kid, man, very talented. My brother know him. He's very talented, man. Fucking talented dude. I don't remember the kid name, but God bless his spirit, man. Like very, like very put together. And to me, it's like even listening to his music is like it's an experience for me now because like he never changed, And it's not that he's outdated. It's just he's solid. It's like he's like a Nas in his own lane. It's like me. I'm in my own lane. Like I switch lanes, but I promise you that lane that I'm on is only me. It's my fucking lane. It's like you could distinguish one of my records not by my voice, but by the sound. It's different. I never follow what someone else is doing, And I don't know if that could be something good or something bad. But to me, if it's not unique, it's not special. You know, and for the most part, what has Aventura done wrong? They won. They created bachata. You know, I know another fella that circulated around me that he was a dope producer then when I met him, and I always told him like, yo, like yeah, I fuck with him because I knew that he was the future of a sound. Like it's ironic that it's like I'm I'm the only one doing this trap shit, and this kid was easily able to make beats for me, like easily. So like I was like, yeah, he gonna be on. This is the, you know, this is the next wave. Like he's gonna be a wave. But when he touched ground, it's gonna be hard to get and keep up with this motherfucker because he was just so unique and different. Like it's like, you know, his sound is gonna have to be embraced because it's so dope that it's gonna open up a new lane, you know, because he's on his own lane. So it's like it's not better than your shit. So adapt, get with it, you know, and that's what it was. And for the most part, everybody, every other comrade in the music industry that I've done had an opportunity to share moments with them and they succeeded, they different. They aliens. They all aliens. These cats is all different. Aventuras, these cats, bachata, it existed, but it wasn't a category on the billboards. It's a category, you know. My other boy, uh, um, that I know, another producer, this other kid that I was just mentioning to you, these cats are highly successful, and they didn't stay with that sound. They innovated, you know. So it's like to that I say being different is good. And now in the 2000s, now in the 2020s, you have to be different.
Right.
When I came in, Rock La Familia wanted me to do reggaeton. That's why that didn't work out. They was like, oh, do reggaeton. They wanted me to sound like every reggaeton artist. And I was like, I can't do reggaeton. If I do reggaeton, you asking me to sound like a Puerto Rican. It's not my language. It's like, it's not my language. I can't mimic an accent that is not mine. And for me, it was always big about, for me, it's like, you know, like, first of all, my brothers will smack the shit out of me. You know, like, it's like, I can't do that. It was just that simple, you know? Like, it wasn't happening. We're not doing that. You know, it's like, you're not going to wash my lyrics. It wasn't about innovating or getting with the sound. I don't sell out. You know, it's like, for me, it was just more like, yo, like, I have something and I know it's unique. I know it's dope. And it's not here yet. But it's like, down south, it's popping. I circulated around Little John. Uh, I got a glance. I got a second to circulate around Missy. I circulated around a lot of heavy hitters, you know, and so much happened to me there, good and bad, that it's like I was like, yo, like I know I have something, and then it's like, damn it, it's like there's still not even someone with this look, someone with our color doing what I'm doing, you know? So it's like, I was like, yo, it's not about the Latin music gravitating to it. I mean, it's not about the Latin industry gravitating to me. It's about creating a lane for the American industry to jump on. That was my whole thing. Because to me, I didn't know that many people within my own community. It ain't like I was embraced. It ain't like I was under the list of artists, underground or mainstream, if they were in my community. Because mainstream, there wasn't no one else but Chalaka. You know, it's like there was no one else. You know, it's like, listen, if you 21, your mother probably made you fucking to some Chalaka. You know, so it's like, and that's just what it is. You know, he's the Bob Marley of our community. For what it is, you know. But for me, it was always about, it was more about just being unique and being different. And I knew I wasn't wrong because it's like growing around my brothers and around Chavacán and hearing other artists in the street including myself, being unique and marketable was getting them the tooties. So for me, it's like, yo, like I know I'm not doing nothing wrong. If the girls like it, the guys is gonna like it.
Right.
Or they're gonna have to get used to it because listen, you're not gonna get on the floor and dance if there's a bunch of other guys dancing. You're gonna
Right.
get on the floor if it's a bunch of other girls dancing. You feel me? So it's like, and Chawakan was infamous for that. He still is. Like, you know, he gave women some fun music, you know. He makes joyful music. No matter what he brings, is joyful, is different, you know, and he has a sound and he's consistent with that sound. He's consistent with releasing material. So it's like I don't, you know, I was like, I'm not budging. What I do need to do is just study the art more and stay creative. Don't lock into one consistent thing.
Right. Definitely. And do you remember your first song that you released, and how did it feel when you released that record as an artist?
Mainstream or underground?
Both.
Underground, it was it was it was street music. So for me, it was just more like a small little body of work, anything, you know, like I am my biggest critic. That's something that probably even until now, that's one of the biggest reasons why I never released music
Mhm.
because I am my biggest critic, and it's like I'm always like, I could fix this, I could fix that from sound or from delivery and whatnot. Mainstream, it was with my brothers, and I would say the record was produced. Yeah, the record was produced with my brothers. They were the executive producers of that record, and that record got us the situation with TD, with Swiss Father. That was the one time that's when he really was like, "Yo, this shit sound like something," because I didn't do reggaeton, but my boy Toby Love, he was doing some stuff, and he had just got signed to Sony. And he always used to. I think he was backup vocalist for Aventura. And my brother Fred knew all these guys. You know, Isaiah's. They knew all these cats. You know, this was their social circle. So they the ones that made that possible. I wasn't even here. I was in Atlanta with Shorty Low and whatnot. Um, I was out there with him, and actually being in Atlanta with Shorty Low, rest in peace, Shorty Low. We had got into a little minor accident because it was raining, so we got into a little minor accident in the highway coming from a strip club,
Wow.
and that's how that happened, you know. But I picked up a lot of my southern, a lot of I finessed my southern sound with Shorty Low. Like that was the person that really complete me when it came to me like rapping, like yo, slow down, like flow, like because even then Alcatraz was just more violent music, and I was so hardcore. And Shorty Low was the one that really was like, yo, like, bring it down a little bit, you know. So it's like that's what really like, yo, pay attention. Listen, when you recording, listen to yourself. Like, try to give it a little swag or whatever. Like, it's more like walking. Like that's how he used to talk. It's more like walking. Like when you rap, it's more like walking. Shout it, like just you gotta feel that beat. So it's like I was like, all right. So then I had already recorded the record. My record with Toby was my record, my single was already done. It was titled How Low. And I believe the producers was A&X. Shout out to A&X. Um, but again, this is people that my brothers knew. They were the ones head on involved with this song. Um, but the record was complete, and I liked the record complete and everything. But that night, my brother called me, and he was like, my brother Fred called me. He was like, "Yo, like Toby's in the studio right now. Yo, we in the studio with Toby. Yo, he's listening to that record. He liked it. So um, I'm gonna put him on the phone." So Toby got on the phone. He was like, "Yo, bro, I like the record. La 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 la. Yo, um, I'm a jump on it." So it's one of those things you can't tell somebody. I didn't tell him no, but I told my brother like, "Yo, like the record is done. That shit is hot. When I get back, we're gonna let it rain. We already got something. We already got TD coming around." And la la la, and it's like this people's big on have your own shit first. Like Rough Riders, they big on like like that collabo shit. If you like do your thing first, like drop some solo shit first, and then do the collaboration. Because to get ahead and go chase another motherfucker to clear something, or you go, it's like you the artist. We can't get ahead and we dealing with you, so it's more like we gotta go put somebody else on. Like that's not gonna work, So it's like I didn't understand the business. They talking business, I didn't understand the business from whatever. But again, the record was done, it was completed, and my brother was like, "Yo, we gonna let him get on. Just let him get on." Nigga, my brother Fred argued me about the shit. I was like, "Yo, the record's done." Like, listen, I'm gonna let him get on. Corvette is gonna get ahead and like mute your shit and open up a set of tracks for him to leave some vocals and let him get on, nigga. It's like you already got a situation. We need that from a business standpoint. It makes sense, And Toby said he'll make sure it get cleared if I keep it. He killed that shit. He bodied this shit. Like he reformatted. He left me with a record, you know. Alcover called me, the producer. He was like, "Yo, this shit is hot," and I didn't hear it until I came back. Once I came back and I heard that record, I was like, "Yeah, it's on." I'm like, "It's on," because it's like this is somebody that we know, and I already have my own situation. At this point, it's like it's on. It's like I already circulated around eggs. I had met him, because everybody on the Rough Riders at that point, X, Eve, it's like these people was on tour. They were popping. So it's like, it's like these people stayed in the air. They popping, So even Drag was doing his own shit. So it's like I didn't get to meet none of the boys, none of them. I didn't get to meet them, for a hot second. Even Drag, I never got to meet him. My brothers met him and whatnot. My brother Fred knew him and whatnot. But I never rubbed even until today, Shout out to all of them, because it's like, had not been because of all this artists that I mentioned, it's like possibilities for me would have never been the least of what they were, But yeah, bro, it's like that record was done, and then everything else became political. So it didn't hit the radio, but that wasn't from my boy Toby directly. It wasn't from me and him. We didn't have no control of that. Me and him was good. He was clear with me. He told me, "Yo, bro, it's like I would have never did it for you," because at first we approached him like, "Yo, bro, like what's going on?" Like, "Yo, bro, like I already pressed these people about it," you know what I'm saying? But it's like your set got a lot of heat. They got a lot of problems. They go to clubs and they causing a lot of smoke and shit, and they just too hot. And Sony's not with it. Like they told my manager, "Nah, like they don't want to." I'm just started doing my shit, so they don't want to get ahead and connect with that. And again, trap music wasn't a genre. I did rap on the record. Like it's like I rapped on it. So it's like when everybody was doing reggaeton, I rapped on a reggaeton beat, and my boy Toby Spanglish the shit out of that record. So it was so unique and so dope that it's like, had it even made like a Hot 97 station, it would have opened the holy grail of global of music at a global scale because it was a record that it was so ahead of its time. Like people always, like artists back in the day, hip hop artists always dib and dab on a little word of Spanish, but it's just the, Boricua Morena and the little this and the little that, Spanish mommy, but it wasn't going as far as cadence to male consumers and women consumers the way we went. Like this was a tit for tat. Me and Toby did on this record. It's like a lot of Spanish, a lot of English,
Right.
and Sony didn't clear it. So at that point, TD, we was running around, man, for some time. We was pulling up at clubs. They'll post a flyer and we'll pull up to the club where they were. And my manager will talk to their manager. My brothers will talk to Toby manager because they knew him personally, and it's like, yo, it's out of our control. Sony don't want to get it, have anything to do with it. La 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 la. And you will think like, dude, like this is Rough Riders we talking about. This is like the holy grail of hip hop. Like this is like we talking about the home of DMX, like the home, like who the fuck didn't know about Rough Riders globally, you know? And then economically, imagine if we would have tapped in, because I would have covered entire Central America. My community, the Honduran community, the Guatemalan community, Costa Rican community, Panamanian community, and every island, Belize and everything else, And it would have just opened the doors for a lot of other artists that were unique like me, that to say, yo, like, I want to break rules, And the only person that saw that were my brothers in TD. Like, all I had was an imagination, but they painted it. They're my brothers. Nas, because he was dressing me up. I don't know what the fuck these motherfuckers saw in me that they saw that it's like, yo, put together, like on wax, dressed up, and if we put him on this stage with this art, he will sell, And they were solid on it. That's what they wanted. But it was language barrier between other people inside Rough Riders and TD. They wasn't seeing his vision either. So it's not like if he was cut a check to say, yo, listen, we're gonna cut a check and let you, yo, listen, we're gonna give you $50,000 budget for this kid, like promote him and get him shows. Because my brothers knew hella people. Like my brothers would say, Fred, when Isaiah, he was going to Boston. Like everybody that was booking us was because of my brothers. So TD didn't have no support, but the one that, it was only him. He wasn't getting that support directly from the label. And that was that. It was pretty much us. It was me, the girl I was dating at that time, putting groundwork. We was burning CDs from our crib and promoting, pushing it wherever we could go, and it takes money to push music though. Like even back then, it takes money. Back then you have to do more of a legwork, groundwork. And to think you're independent artists is like in today's day where it's like all you gotta do is it's a artwork and post it on social media. Back then you have to go ahead and fucking press flyers, and posters and make sure you don't put your name and the address of where you sticking them shits at in most times, because you remember back then cops will pull up at your venue and give you a ticket for vandalizing, like you sticking flyers everywhere. So they started giving people tickets because people will flood the streets with flyers. You know, so when that happened, little by little, now you got to put together a street team, and then you don't know if the street team is doing their job or they just dumping the flyers and you paying somebody a bunch of money. So it's like it became political until MySpace and then everything else started merging, and you know, and everything, the digital world finally started, music industry started to become a lot easier. So yeah, man, it was a journey for me. It was a journey, and I always remember TD telling me like, yo, like I remember I was going into the studio and we didn't have no engineer, and it was this kid, Oka boy. Like he'll go, we was always fucking waiting for somebody. We'll be there on time, and we didn't have no engineer. And he'll tell me, I don't know how to use this shit. It's your shit. You don't know how to use it. So it's like, I don't want to. So he'd be like, yo, like, you got to learn this stuff. But it was a fucking 80, 100 tracks plus control board. Like, what the hell? Like, I don't know how to use this shit, bro. Like, I'm not going to sit here and we don't have that type of time, man. Besides, I'm the artist. So it's like I was stuck on, I'm the artist, get somebody to do this shit for me. I'm just ready to lay shit down.
Right.
But it really, right after we quit working with one another, um, this when reality hit, and it made me realize like, yo, like, who you gonna do music with now, you know, and like who's gonna record you, where you gonna work with who, you know, because reggaeton was like, it was fire, it was the flames in the industry. It was thousands of reggaeton artists. You know, that was like everybody wanted to be. That was like everybody still trying to become a basketball player. Back then, if you Latin, and that was what you was doing, reggaeton. You wanted to be a reggaeton artist. So it got saturated. That industry got saturated quick, and I never changed. I'm not doing. Right after that, it's like I just lay low for some time. I went back to doing reggae. Reggae in Spanish still didn't have a lane. So it's like, it was kind of disappointing for me because I'll jump on these tracks and I'll kill them. I always like, not to feel myself, but I always felt like it's like I'll do dope shit on tracks. I always, like, I try to keep myself at least consistent with melody and potent with the pen, you know, but it's like my music was always violent. And it's like, as I got older, it's like, I was like, I can't, like, I can't let my son hear this crazy shit, or my nephew. My nephew was around me, and I can't, like, you know, it's like, it's just too violent. My biggest fear was for my son to become like me or worse, and my nephew to get ahead and become like me as well. So it's like, I was like, I just shut my mouth up for some years, and I just stood creative, never disconnected from it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just stayed creative, and I just wrapped it up. I got a whole studio here, you know, and I found myself always around other artists. I always found myself around producers in the industry, always,
Mm-hmm.
or even now, current. Like, you know, I'm still involved in music. But if I wasn't producing, I'm engineering for somebody. If I'm not engineering, then I'm like, yo, like, bro, pay attention to this. From big producers to small producers, yo, bro, this shit is hard. This shit is gonna. I always had an ear for it,
All
you
right.
know. But yeah, bro, like, it's like, you know, sometimes it's timing. You know, when it's your time, it's gonna be, and you just gotta be there. You know, it's not. It's a combination of timing and consistency that's gonna get you on. You know, it's not really. It's like, if you talented, just sit there, just keep going. You know, consistency and timing really been what been keeping me around. You know, it's like I don't. It's not about me not doing reggae or me not doing rap. It's like, it's about me doing music. You know, and it's like, I don't I don't I don't I I don't limit myself, you know. Nunca, yo nunca, no hay límite. I don't say, oh yeah, que yo no puedo. If I could write some bachata, I'm writing it, bro. Like it's like if a bachatero calls me right now, I'm not a bachatero, but I'm ready. Like I don't try to write some bachatas. I'm pretty sure I could put something together at least 16 bars. I may not be able to put a bachata together by myself, but I'll rock the shit out of my 16 bars. I can hold my own. Same shit with hip hop, same shit with reggae, same shit with Afro music. Like it's like music in general, bro. Like it's like I love music. And I love unique artists. It's like, yo, like I don't know. It's like I'm always up for the challenge, you know.
So, how did you feel when your brothers was supporting you with your music career and pushing you? Like,
For me, that for me that's success. For me, like I could tell you this much, bro. Like it's like I didn't I didn't I didn't sell records, right? But I put that R on. You know, everybody knew who I was. The label knew who I was. That shit wasn't fake. You know, the family embraced me individually. YD, like the CEOs, Swiss, they embraced me. Like TD, he did that. You know, um, he's 100% responsible for anything that happened in there. You know, but that shit happened in the air. It's about what happened on the runway, you know, and my brothers were the fuel. You know, it's like, all I could do is go ahead and write and finesse my craft and make them believers. But everything that happened in my experience there was done by my brothers 100%. Like from imaging to inspiration, my brother Simon, to the finances and the executive production of it all was my brothers. Like I could legit say I never digged in my pocket to pay for studio time. My brothers did that. My brothers never asked me for money to pay for studio equipment. They did that. They financed my entire career at 100%. You know, I was just an artist, you know, and and that was because we had magic, you know, like someone like TD, you know, he circulated around everybody. This is Rough Riders, bro. Like, we're talking about Rough Riders, you know. Shout out and more power to every other record label. I respect every other record label. But these are brothers that they were the least expected to make it that big. You understand what I'm saying? Like no other record label, there's no other record label, right, that could travel around this globe and have 1,000 men at the airport waiting for you. Around the globe, they do this. Nigga, like we talking about it's soldiers in Iraq at war with a Rough Rider vest. In Iraq, there's gonna be a soldier that he may be a Rough Rider. It may be a soldier. It may be a biker that is a judge. Maybe it's plenty of bikers that's CEOs, cops. It's like they come from every, like, yo, like it's people from different paths of life just connecting for everything that these brothers made. You understand what I'm saying? It's like they started with music. We're not talking about we're not talking about Hell's Angels. You know, these cats existed before Rough Riders. It ain't like DYTD. This family weren't bikers before execs. You understand what I'm saying? This was all strategy and marketing and purpose. It wasn't one of those things, oh, we flying with security somewhere. They are the security, nigga. Like, it's not, it wasn't one of those situations where it's like, oh, it's like, yeah, DNY is going to pull up with 10, 20 securities. No, this is entourage, bro. And this is people that try it. You try it. You go ahead and try to infiltrate that situation and see how you're going to end up. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So it wasn't like, oh, yeah, these are now brothers that they were like, yo, like, oh, yeah, we go, yeah, I'm going to get the security. The rapper had a security. The rapper had security. But the CEOs also were celebrities. They were just as big as the artists. They are. They still are. You know, the thing is that they so respected in the street that fuck you want a picture with them, you know? And if you want it, it's because you personally know them, you know, because just to be around them, it's like they embrace you. It's not a money thing with them, yo. It's not a money thing with them. It's like they embrace you, you know, and they hear you out. Even if you say, oh yeah, I'll spit, yo, let me hear something. If the time is right for them, they hear you. You know, it's like they hear you. But it's like it's like getting around them. Everything was more organic than the flash life. You know, it's like they never had me around the cars and the bunch of girls and oh yeah, we're gonna get these cars, let's go show off at the club. Right. Groundwork, boys. Groundwork. It's all groundwork. Like the only thing you need to do is spit. You a rapper. You rap. You just like it wasn't none of that. Like today, it's like fake it till you make it. Right. Like, you're gonna show a car when you own a car. It wasn't none of that where it's like, yo, yeah, we're gonna get Swiss Ferrari for a video. Oh yeah, we're going to this club. We're gonna pull up on I'm gonna get a car from Swiss, or I'm gonna get a car from this person, or I'm gonna go rent a car. Nah. We had a car. It was a clean car. We got to find parking, and we pulling up to the club as a team, you know? And that's something that they always did. They always did. X never pulled up to the club on a Ferrari, rest in peace. None of them did it, you know? It's like, none of them did it. It's like, they're around and people know them, but this is people that it's like, you know, it's like, they are who they are, bro. And it's like, my brothers are who they are too. And it's like, yeah, like, it's like, it was an experience, bro. And for me, it's like, for me, that's success. You know, like, it's like, it took time for my brothers to embrace. And like my little brothers, because it's like, they were my ears. Frederick and Isaiah, they always used to hear me. They always used to hear me because they were little. So it's like they were always there with me and hear me right until I got good. But as well, it's like before them even hearing my music and taking me serious at that level, they was already around Fat Joe, Pharrell. They were around big people. So it's like I still had not discovered myself. And they were around big people because they were already working within that kind of scenery, you know? And whether they knew them because they were in the industry or they were just working and hey, hi, bye, hi, these other cats gravitated to them because it was organic. It's like these cats you meet, my brothers, they're organic cats, you know? It's like, it's just come correct, you know? It's like they don't, you know, it's just one of those things. Just come correct and come put together. Other than that, it's like there ain't much to say, you know. But it's like, yeah, bro. It's like to me, that's success. Long story short, I really don't. It's like I wore the R. I perform on stage with the vest. I perform around thousands of people. You know, and I remember when we was talking about the Rough Rider tour, once they seen, because it's like, just like I went through that, they were breaking me, my brothers was breaking me in Boston. So I was doing back-to-back shows in Boston. and people was gravitating. We had a little something, and a lot of promoters that were building their name up too. They'll call us, yo, come perform, because it's like it's Rough Riders, god damn it, and this motherfucker Spanish, but he black, and it was. I still remember getting on stage, and people be like this, like looking for the Spanish looking figure, because to say, yo, he's Spanish, and it's like, it's until we talk, other than that, it's like, I'm black, or Jamaican, or whatever they make me out to be, so it's like, but as we kept doing shows and people started gravitating, we started getting followed through tour and shit like that. We ended up in Miami, we started moving around, and shortly after, you started seeing a lot of, yo, wait a minute, we got 4 shows. Okay. And then all of a sudden, no shows. Like people will call, yo, we not performing no more, la, la, la. So it's like we dealt with a lot of hate there. A lot of promoters got paid to not book me and whatever. And, yo, like I know you, don't book that nigga, book this nigga, I know that nigga. And little by little, we ended up not having no shows. And that was kind of devastating because it's like that was my brother's effort collectively as a whole, from my brother making apparel for me to finances getting on the road. We was pressing shirts. We had everything. Everything was self-made. We was coming out of pocket. Well, my brothers were coming out of pocket, and we didn't have no budget. It was all a lot of legwork, and it kind of got devastating when it's like we started not getting shows because we already had something, and but yeah, we got hated on there in there, and then all the Latin rapper with my niche came out. The only other thing that was out, that was in there, and it was greater than me and resembled me, was Tego. And but even Tego, he had his own sound. This cat had his own sound. So it's like that's why he was so successful. He had his own sound, where it's like again, people. He made it. He became a demand for other artists because people like his energy, his vibe. He was well put together, And then the closest thing to Black after that was doing. The closest thing to Black after that was him mainstream. Is him and Don Omar, Afro Latino, as the black. I say black guys that speak Spanish. Yeah. Um, but that was pretty much it, bro. Like everything else is just, you know, that's the story of my life in music. I falls on that chapter.
So, what is Andy doing now? Is he dropping any new songs anytime soon? Like, what is Andy in the studio? Like, what name do you go by now?
Um, I changed my name for a third time. For a third time because now, but this time I did it more as a business move, and I wanted to be. I've been Exorcista and of course a lot of other artists inspired by the arts and whoever inspired them to quit doing music, battling. I done, I was Alcatraz, and it sounded good in Spanish and English, and I brought trap, and however people want to say, it's one of those things that's like, this whoever put it out there, that's who owns the crown or whatever. I don't know who the fuck owns the crown. I'm not involved in that genre. I don't pick it. But I was like, you know what? It's like, if it's one thing I haven't been, it's myself, you know? So I was like, you know what? I just want to be Andy. I just want to be Andy. At this point, it's like, you know, it's like I want to be Andy as a whole, you know, and I don't I if I tell you I feel like I'm an artist, I tell you I'm not, because it's like for that I I don't I don't know. It's like to the eye of the behold, bro, because it's like for me, like I'm always gonna do what I like to do. And you tell me you hungry, I'm not gonna ask you what you want to eat. You know, I'm just gonna, yo, bro, let's find some food. You know, or if I don't have the time to get ahead and get to some food, then here, bro, like here goes some money, get some food. I'm not gonna ask you what you want to eat. It's none of my goddamn business. You see what I'm saying? Like for me, art is art, you know, and that's all. I just want to do art, and you grab it, and if you don't like it, then you don't like it. If you like it, then embrace it, share it. I will appreciate it and whatnot. But it's like I don't. I'm not interested in criticizing myself. Like it's like I'm not interested in trying to. I don't pay so much attention to what I do. I don't. I can't. I'll be lying to you to tell you I don't do reggae anymore. I'll be lying to you to tell you I don't do trap anymore. I'll be lying to you to tell you I don't do Afro anymore. I'm gonna do whatever I feel like doing, you know. And without I make beats. I sometimes I don't want to get ahead and record. I just want to make beats. Sometimes I don't want to get ahead and do none of that. I design. Sometimes I don't want to design. I'm building something, you know. Nowadays, I find my business, my lucrative business is design, um, inventing. These are the go. This is where I'm. That's the lane that I'm on right now. Just invention, product design. I create products and whatnot. I'm making products. And yeah, I do music and whatnot. I'm up to something with music. You know, I'm up to some shit with music, like right around the corner with music. You
Okay,
know,
okay, okay. That's what's up. That's good. That's good. You know. So, what, you dropping a single, dropping an album, like what it is? Shout out to Johnny Alvarez, Johnny Menedy. If you remember Johnny
um,
Menedy.
I probably I just tell you I'm dropping music. I can't call it like for me. It's like listen, I don't have a label behind me for me to title it a single. You know, it's only a single if it's buzzing, right? If it's a single and it's buzzing, yo, you heard that joint? That shit is ringing. It's catchy. It's hot. People's gravitating to it. You want to play it, Alex? If you playing it, if you busting that joint, if HMP, shout out to HMP,
Yeah, but I've been playing
Biggie.
all your tracks though. So what do you? Any record that you gave me, I played it. I played it in
No,
party.
of course, but we talking about, you know, it's like to use them shits as duck plates. You know, it's like you the only one with that shit. You know, but something that's circulating and I could say, yo, I'm getting booked for that. That's a single. Like if somebody want to see me perform that, that's a single. Um, Other than that, for me, it's just a song, man. It's a song out. Yeah, it's like I'm gonna drop some music. I could get ahead and create an idea around what I wish for the feedback to be out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it don't stick, I gotta go back to the drawing board, right? So it's like um, I think that's just how I'm choosing to get ahead and take stuff. I just want to make art, and hopefully people embrace it as for everything else that I do. You know that I find other people embracing, whether it's with design or it's with me creating. You know, and hopefully people trust. my creation with music. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, um, I don't know where it's gonna go. Our community has no industry, so it's not like if I could say, "Oh yeah," it's like I'm doing this genre of music and that genre of music, buzzing where within our community. It's like, you know, to some degree, our own community don't want to be known yet. You know, we still lack order. We still lack discipline.
How you feel about that?
And it's one of those things. It's one of those things like what could we do? You know, it's like what can we do? You know, to like for me, it's like I'm nobody. Like you know how I feel about a lot of stuff within our community. You know, it's like we so and I put myself in there too. You know, because I am Garifuna, so I can't say y'all because it's like now I'm pointing at you, and I'm pointing at my own people. You know, but I say we, although I don't partake on certain things, I am Garifuna too, so I have to put myself there responsibly. You know, because I or I and I am also in a position to be an example. It's just all a matter of a choice now, right? And that's why I allow that's why I said yes to this interview, you know, because it's like it got to it's like I'm at a point where it's like I'm coming in and I'm complaining about certain people in their ways about our
It's 8 o'clock.
but I ain't doing shit, you know. So it's like for me, it's like, well, I I have to shut the hell up at some point, you know, because it's like if I'm not doing something about it myself, then I have to get ahead and faithfully say I shouldn't be judging or talking about that one that's talking bad about our someone else or the community. Because a lot of people say, oh, nosotros los hondureños o nosotros los garífunas vamos a party y peleamos or this, that, and the third, you know. You got the people that take out their phone o van a pelear negra, o negro, van a pelear, prender el teléfono, you know. And then you have someone like me that pull up and uh, I'll tell anybody. I don't need to know you, bro. It's just, yo, I'm out here and I just want to have fun, bro. I just want 4 o'clock to hit or 3 o'clock to hit. Just let me have finished my last drink. I'm leaving here at 3 o'clock. Right after I leave, you know. I don't have a problem addressing that with anyone, you know. Um, like we are so destructive, you know, like and we don't support ourselves. It's like that's the reason why we don't thrive. I mean, like you look at it, it's like you got consistent motherfuckers like HMP, right? You got HMP. How many years they been here? You know, how many years faithfully? Like you could still book them faithfully. They still throw parties faithfully, right? And how many DJs? You, Giovanni. You know, Ron Dredd. Shout out to Ron Dredd. Now he's Ron Caesar. You know, and the other guy, it's another guy. It's another guy that used to DJ with him. I don't remember his name.
Neri.
Neri. Shout out to Neri, right?
MC Shot.
And it was exactly. These are dinosaurs, you know. It's the Chavacán, you know. These are dinosaurs. It's my brother, you know. These are dinosaurs that once upon a time they were young like we were back when we were. And even back then, there was no support system. Like my uncle was doing music outside of our community, but he was embraced, he was heard. He was heard and he was embraced by our community. And he was supported by the community too, you know. But had our community had a system, you know, just the same way, just the same way we, it's those of us, well, those of y'all, because I cannot get and take credit for what y'all done. Just the same way, it's those of y'all that faithfully carried the nightlife for our community for so many years, right? For so many years, there have been people in our community playing political party, right? Representing us. Oh, yo represento Garifuna community, whatever, and whatnot. But like, yo, like head of household is head of household. You know, if you're the man of the house, when shit is bad, who's supposed to fix that? You know, like, like if you represent the community, you gotta be connected to everything that's going on in our community, with the entertainment, with the good and the bad, with the people that does news. There's people in our community that advertise news and shit that's going on, the good and the bad. I know someone that faithfully advertise positive stuff that individuals is doing. Shit, I know more than one. You got the Teofilo Colon, you got Mr. G. How many people, Mr. G? This guy don't even film me. You know, Talento Catracho. So it's like, it's a lot of people in our community. I don't know everybody off the top of my head. Shout out to those that have been doing it, that did it for that such a long time as well, like these cats. And shout out to the ones that's trying to do it now, you know. But when there's no structure, you know, you can't expect a tree to grow big enough to give you fruit if you plant that shit on quicksand. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, you just can't. You can't drive a car without wheels, you know? So it's like, where is our wheels? You know, this community has no wheels, you know? There's people saying, yeah, I'm the wheel. They going somewhere to say they the wheels for the community, but where are they? Like, where are they? For us to say, yo, you know what? I have a situation that I'm directly dealing with that's affecting me. I'm gonna call this spot in my community because yo no hablo inglés bien, solo sé español y garífuna, y acabo de llegar de Honduras. There is no place to say, yo, you know what? I'm gonna go and get clothes. I'm gonna go get me a coat. The way mañana, your cousin just came from Guatemala, from Honduras. I'm gonna take you over here to get, yo, go to sleep, cuz. You good, you already ate, you fed him, and you giving him the sofa in your living room for him to crash for 2 months. In 2 months, somebody could get up, bro. Like, yo, like, I'm gonna take you to the community center. I'm gonna take you to our community center. They're gonna help you with an OSHA card. They're gonna get ahead and get you, yo, very important, because you in my house. I want to get you tested for HIV. Yo, you're gonna be out here and you're gonna be having sex education. I want to educate you, because the same way as HIV/AIDS in Honduras, it exists here. You know what I'm saying? We dance to this kind of shit. Like, people dance to the rhythm of having sex, yet the topic of sex is such a taboo in our community. You know, yet it's people getting infected out here. It's people that don't do drugs in Honduras and get introduced to drugs out here. So why did you take that trip? Why did you come mojado with no documents from Honduras all the way over here to waste time? And it's not that nobody move themselves from their corner of the world to somewhere where they ain't got nothing unless there's hope there. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, to get here, where is hope? You know, where is the hope? At a great scale, at least at a standard scale, you know, like at a standard scale. It's like there is no hope. There's like, it's one of those things that is like, you know, it's people, it's artists out here that is like they've been doing music, people like you, people like Chavacan, you know, that gave birth. You guys done gave birth to a lot of other young DJs. Chavacan and other older, this other guy, shout out to Remolino, you know, done paved the wave. The other guy in Honduras, I never got to meet this guy, you know, I was a little jit, but it was another guy that did a record, a big record in Honduras that had a little buzz. And this is another dude that done his thing, you know, and it's one of those things where it's like, you know, if you're not getting the proper support, you know, if there's no structure, how can we create a program? How can we create a program, you know?